Alright, Speed Addicts, welcome back to the channel. On this episode, we are going to attempt to start the DSM. Let me get you guys up to speed of what's been taking place since the last video. If you haven't seen that video, check it out right here. Alright, so starting with the engine bay, we got the valve cover powder coated. We got our catch can in its final location. All our sensors, I did a little bit of wiring. This car, when I bought it, it came with this ECM link pigtail. ECM tuning on what this pigtail appears to be. It has a mass airflow connector on it. We installed our GM MAP sensor, and then we also got our 3.5 bar MAP sensor. I don't know if you can see it, but it's an AEM 3.5 bar MAP sensor, something I had from the RB. The wiring was pretty much self-explanatory. Each one of these looms had 3 wires in it. The way it worked was red was a 5 volt, which we didn't need for the air intake temp sensor. The ground, or the black, excuse me, was the ground. And then the other wire, which I forget what color it was, I think it's yellow in this case, was the signal wire. It was the same thing on the MAP sensor, except for instead of using the 2 out of the 3 wires that came with this pigtail, we used all 3 of them. The loom is pretty nice. As you can see, it has intake air temp on this one. And then take my word for it, the other one says Barrow, AKA MAP sensor. We can fast forward over here to the radiator. As you can tell, I have a Flexolite fan setup. Believe it or not, this is the actual slim fan setup that I had on the 240. This fan with the shroud fits the 240, and guess what? Also fits the DSM. I have nothing on this thing because with these little tabs right here and these tabs right here, got some on the corners as well, it actually holds it into place nice. Of course, I had to do a little bit of trimming for the lower radiator hose and this radiator fan switch, and I had to do the same thing for the top, but I'm pretty stoked that this actually works. Only thing it needed was another motor. The motor was like a little bit over $100. We installed it. The motor came with the motor and the C-clip to hold the fan into place. As you can tell, I wired them both up. I got both grounds going to one of these junctions, and then I got the other 2 powers going to the same junction. This is a specific plug. I know it looks like a generic plug that you would get like in a fuel pump Walbro setup or something like that, but these are rated for a little bit more amperage than your traditional one. And then here's the 2 wires that came off, I guess coming from the factory harness going to the fans. And the same thing, I just basically, I crimped them into place, and there we go. There is the hot side of the intercooler piping. As you can tell, I did the same thing that I did on the cold side to this side, but I did a little bit different of an angle so that it can clear, the alternator. I need to make a gasket for this right here. This is the outlet coming out of the turbo, going into the hot side of the intercooler piping. I don't have a gasket. I'm not going to use RTV, but I'm going to use a gasket material that I got local. All I got to do is trace it out and put it into place. And again, if you didn't see the last video, I relocated the screamer dump. It's pretty close to the wiring on the alternator, so I'm gonna either put some kind of insulation over the wires going to the alternator, or I may insulate this. But to be honest with you, if everything work out, I don't plan on keeping this little turbo and this little manifold on here for long. Like I said, I want to make my own stuff, and I'm dying to put something on there like a 3076 or a 35R, 3582 or something. So we'll see. You got to stick around to find out. Also, we installed a Innovate LC2. Of course, the only thing left in this kit is the oxygen sensor, but it came with the gauge. It came with a serial port in case you want to do some computer programming to the ECU. It came with a little black box. And let's go into the car. Let me show you what that looked like. Here is the little Innovate black box. It comes with the pigtail, which is right there, that plugs up to the actual O2 sensor. That wire right there goes all the way into the engine bay for the O2 sensor. You see the wiring. The wiring is pretty much self-explanatory. And all I need is some double-sided tape, and I'm gonna put this right here because there is a little light that you have to look at when you do your first calibration, or if you decide that you want to calibrate the O2 sensor periodically to make sure it gets 100% performance. I did a little bit of moving around on the gauges. I saved the boost gauge. I got my innovate gauge here. Originally, they was right here in the center section where the vent is. I didn't particularly like that. And then also we wired in our LC2 to the ECU, which is down there, which has ECM link or DCM link, DSM link or ECM link, one of the two. So right now, guys, I'm ready to adjust my fuel pressure. I'm ready to get fuel to the injectors, and I've already put oil in, so we need to prime the oil system. So I already got all the spark plugs removed. I actually put a couple of dabs of oil down into the cylinder since it ain't been running for a while. I took the oil feed off of the turbo right here. I got a whole lot of different assortments of fittings and stuff, so I ended up using this fitting. It was actually the right thread pitch for the bolt and everything to go in there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this end of the hose, and we're gonna turn this thing over without any spark plugs in to see if we can get oil pressure. After we get oil pressure, we're gonna slap some fuel in this thing, hook it up to the DSM link, and see if we can start it. See if we can start it. It's got oil in it. Why is it not getting oil pressure yet? So for some reason, I can't get oil pressure. I don't know what's going on. But I'm going to, well, I've already put fuel in it. I'm gonna go ahead and slap the spark plugs in it, and we're gonna hook up the DSM link, ECM link, and try to start it. See what happens. See if we can get some oil out of that, maybe once it's started. These came with the car, NGK BPR70Ss. Actually what came out are some 6s. These are one step colder. Then also got some 8s that I don't know when I'm gonna be able to use those, but we're gonna slap these in real quick, see if we can start it. Spark plugs in, wires in. So we got the key on, got DSM connected. As you can tell, it shows connected there, it shows connected here. So now I want to check the fuel pressure. So you go to live ECM link settings, go to active fuel pump, click that on. And it ain't doing freaking nothing. It was doing something the other day, hold on. Why ain't doing nothing now? Well, we got the fuel pump to prime, and yeah, shot fuel all over the place. Now my garage is gonna smell like fuel. Gotta hit it. All right, I'm gonna go with this as our cold pit. Look how freaking compressed that is. That's no bueno. And then even this one is broke right down the top too. See that? All right, let's try this again. We got a little bump, but I got to figure this program out. This mess is super old, super ancient, and it's super confusing. So I don't know where my parameters are at, but I'm gonna have to figure something out. But you heard it though. Got about 37 PSI. I'm gonna leave it there. All right guys, it's the next day. As you can tell, yesterday we had issues with the DSM fueling and trying to get it started. Well, I have good news. Off camera, I've been playing with it, and check this out. We got oil pressure because I was able to get this thing started long enough to idle. Yeah, this is the material that we're gonna use to make our gasket for the outlet on the turbo compressor. I got this from the local place that sells hoses. They rebuild hoses. They got T-bolt clamps. They got like silicone couplers that are sold in like foots or feets or anyways. This is some of the material they had laying around or hanging up on the board that I could choose from. It's almost like a cardboard material, but it's not cardboard. I got the thickness a little bit thick so I can have something to bite on too. And let me show you how I'm gonna make this template real quick. like a glove. See if I can improvise on this one. Got that cobalt razor blade, wee.
Eventually.
So I ordered the wrong lower radiator hose. This is what the one they call curved. For whatever reason, when you look on Rock Auto or anywhere else, they got two different style lower radiator hose. My thought process was if I get the long one, I can cut it to fit. But technically, I didn't want to cut it to fit. So I ordered the right one. But I found in my stash of stuff that I never throw away was this little coupler here. Basically, you can splice two pipes together. It's exactly the same size. And I'm looking at this orientation, and if I cut it here and then cut it there, meaning that I get rid of that section, I can splice that in between. So let's see if we can make something work so we can fill this thing up with at least water and see if we can get it to idle a little longer and play with the tune. So the more of the 90 go to the bottom. I put that KY on it. What an idiot. Forgot to put the upper radiator hose on. What an idiot. Using some of that Honda coolant. Smoke coming out this catch can. Hope it won't no setup. I hope it won't no daggone setup. That's 90 on number 2. 4 and 3 had 180, and I'm down to number 2, man. That's why that mud was sounding like the can was hitting a little too hard, like a misfire too hard and smoking out the valve cover and junk. Hey yo, I was excited about this DSM, but for real, my feelings is hurt, and y'all ain't gonna see this build for a minute. I gotta get some stuff in order, but we're gonna try to come back stronger than ever. Hit that subscribe button. Help your boy out.